Hey everyone! Thanks for joining me back in Super Awesome Geek Show. Today we're doing some affordable Transformers. This, just like the affordable mask video, was a little bit difficult to do because there are not a whole lot of Transformers that are under $30 retail like these days. Vintage Transformers we're talking about. Vintage, like you see here. In my collection, we got a few Autobots to look at, and almost none of these are going to be under 30 bucks. So we're just going to say this is an affordable video and try to give you some of the best deals that you can get in each of the categories. First off, we're going to start off with the mini bots, of course. These are going to be some of the cheapest ones you can pick up. Some people may just do a collection of all the mini bots and be happy with that. Gears here is one of the first ones that I would say you can pick up pretty easily. Gears is relatively inexpensive. He's a really cool looking robot and great looking truck if you ask me. I don't know why he's one of the cheapest ones. Maybe he's just the most common one. But you can usually find Gears for as low as $10 to $15. And the advantage with these mini bots is there's no guns, weapons, or accessories. For the most part, I think Outback has a gun, but very few of them have any kind of accessories. So they're very easy to pick up in a complete form. Another really easy one here is Beachcomber, and Beachcomber is really cool. I actually like this one a lot. He's from like the second wave of Gen 1 mini bots. And I think he's got rubber wheels, which makes him really cool. The way he transforms is fantastic. And he just looks great in robot mode. I mean, he looks like a cool robot and also looks like a cool car. A little dune buggy here. Beachcomber is going to run you $10 to $20. Like I said, he's not that much at all. And real easy to pick up. Very common. You can probably find him at a bunch of like lots. If you find a job lot or whatever of figures, you might find Beachcomber in there and get him for even cheaper. And Beachcomber usually is in really good shape, as well as Warpath here. Warpath is usually in pretty good shape when you find him. People seem to have taken care of these. It's very rare that I see some of these common mini bots in a really beat up shape. They tend to be pretty good most of the time. Warpath is awesome because he transforms from robot into a tank, and who doesn't want to have a tank in their collection? This is freaking awesome. $10 to $20 for Warpath. Again, he's not going to break the bank. Really cool action figure, and I actually like this one a lot. I've got a couple of Warpath in my collection. The next one you might want to go for is Seaspray. Seaspray is another awesome action figure with very similar transforming style to Warpath. Seaspray was a sort of like a hovercraft kind of vehicle, and he looks great as a robot and as a vehicle. I love the propellers and the overhead sort of spoiler thing that goes over his head. He's a really cool vehicle too. I mean, this thing is just awesome. Seaspray, again, he's going to be one of those $10 to $20 ones. He's very common. The one thing is sometimes those propellers can be broken. So you want to just look at that. And he can get discolored once in a while, so you might want to check out some of the colors and see if he's been faded or whatever. We're starting to go up a little bit in price here. Windcharger is the next one I would recommend. Windcharger is a classic Gen 1 mini bot. You're not going to find Bumblebee or Cliff Jumper at a reasonable price, I would say. Sometimes not even less than 30. So a good alternative is Windcharger. He was on the cartoon quite frequently, and as a car, this guy looks awesome. I mean, just look at this car. It is incredible. Windcharger is going to run you somewhere between $15 and $25. Like I said, he's not going to be super expensive, but he is a little bit more than some of the other ones we've had on this list so far. But he looks great. I mean, just look at this car. It's so awesome. Classic figure here is Braun. Now, Braun's arms are the one thing you're going to have to look for. They are often broken. Either they just totally broken off and they don't exist, or, they're just going to be broken, like snapped off at the wrist or whatever, at the elbow. Braun transforms into sort of some kind of military Jeep-like vehicle, and he also is going to run you that $15 to $25 range. He's a pretty cool-looking figure. I like him in vehicle mode a lot, but that robot mode is kind of difficult to work with, but still one of a great classic figure that I don't think you want to pass up. Now, if you want to go for super cheap and something that a lot of people question as to whether or not these are even transforming robots, because they just have the alt mode just flips down. They literally just flip up into robot and flip down into vehicle mode. But twin twist and top spin here, they are supposedly Autobot twins. But they're going to run you only $10 to $15. They're super, super cheap. But they are mediums. They're sort of like medium vehicle sized. So like almost the size of the Autobot Cars. But they're so, so cheap and so common and easy to find in perfect shape. Had to put them on the list. We're going to go into Decepticons here. Of course, you guys want some Decepticons. The Insecticons are some of the easiest Decepticons to find. I actually got all 3 of my Insecticons that you're going to see here for just $30 with their weapons complete as they're shown. But I have seen these guys go up in price the last 4 or 5 years. Bombshell here, he might run you $15 to $30 just by himself. And most of these Insecticons are going to be in this range by themselves nowadays. Like I said, I found all 3 for $30 total, so I got mine for $10 each. But these days, they're probably going to start running you $15 to $20 each. The $30 range is going to be for immaculate, absolutely brilliant mint, perfect copies, and if you could get them with like brand new condition, loose, then that's probably what you're going to end up paying. Shrapnel here is it's debatable. Some people say Shrapnel was the leader here, and Shrapnel is a pincer bug kind of thing. Bombshell was a stink bug. This is a pincer type bug. Stag beetle, whatever you want to call it. $15 to $30 for Shrapnel. Again, he's a cool Transformer. I like Shrapnel a lot. But my favorite, and who I consider the leader of the Insecticons, because you saw him in the cartoon the most leading, is Kickback here. I think Kickback looks great in robot mode. He's one of the best robot modes for the Insecticons. Like I said, I think Kickback was the leader in the cartoons, but Shrapnel might have been the leader when you read the comic books. So I guess it just depends on what you follow more as to who you think the leader is. But I think Kickback is probably the best of the Insecticons. And if you're only going to get one, this is the one to get, the Grasshopper. $15 to $30 again, and that $30 range is you want to make sure he's absolutely mint if you're going to pay that much for him. Make sure the chrome is perfect. Make sure all the stickers are nice, and he's basically just like a brand new figure. And I know you guys want to have some of the Autobot cars. We were talking about them earlier when we were talking about Twin Twist and Top Spin. I tried to pick out a couple of cars here. I got some help from Tez at Rowlands Reviews. Tez, ZX Spectrum, the video game guy, Transformer expert. He's got some great photography for Transformers. And Tez shot me over a couple photographs of some real nice examples of Sideswipe and Hound. And later on we're going to see Devastator. Sideswipe here, the Lamborghini, he'll probably run you $50 to $75 complete and in really nice shape. This is considered reasonable for one of the cars. Now, the Autobot cars, there are a lot of cars like Jazz and other things that are going to run you over $100 to $150, things like that. So I tried to pull out some of the ones that are on the lower end. Hound is also one that's on the lower end. Fairly common, in fact. I think Hound seems to be up there when I'm looking for things online. I see Hound quite frequently, and the biggest thing is that shoulder cannon. Oftentimes he's missing that cannon or the part of the gun that slips into the back of the vehicle. You're going to be paying $60 to $85 for Hound. Look for the rear view mirrors on the front of the vehicle that are on the fenders there. Those chrome mirrors. A lot of times those are missing. And the mount for the gun in the back is often missing. So those are the two things you got to look for. But the least expensive one of all of the Autobot vehicles is Cup. For some reason, Cup is the most common one, and he's very inexpensive compared to the other vehicles. As far as the Autobot cars go, Cup was from the movie. If you remember that 1986 film, that's where Cup came into play. We don't really know what this vehicle is. We don't know if it's a scooter or a milk truck or what. And maybe that's part of the reason why you will find Cup just for $30 to $50. I have seen a lot of them for sale in the $30 to $40 range. And it's even with his gun, it's quite common to find Cup for really, really cheap. And then I know you guys are going to want one of the jet planes. Now, if you're going for Starscream, Thundercracker, or Skywarp, you're probably not going to find them for anywhere less than $100 to $150, maybe even upwards of $200. They are insane. So what you got to do is you got to go for one of the cone heads, and even some of them like Thrust and things are kind of expensive. But the least expensive one, the one that's the cheapest to find, is Dirge here. Dirge is an awesome looking jet, but he is a cone head, so you're going to have to deal with that. But you can find a Dirge. You can get your Dirge for $45 to $65. Mine here was actually in a job lot, and when you factored things out, he was right around $30, and he's complete with everything you see here. This is the exact one I paid for. And so you can find Dirge for dirt cheap if you really look around, and maybe get them in a lot with a bunch of other figures. If you want to go up a scale, get some of the larger figures, you're really not going to find a lot that I would consider super affordable. But if you go for the cassette ones like Blaster and Soundwave, they're surprisingly some of the most affordable of the larger figures. Blaster here is going to run you $35 to $55. I was actually finding some with the gun. My example here is missing the gun. But I was finding some online with the gun for $40, $45, and they didn't look that bad. So you can get some for really reasonable prices. Soundwave also really shocked me here. I was surprised. Now, Soundwave did come with Buzzsaw, the cassette bird. So you want to look. It just depends on if you want that cassette with him. If you're going to get the cassette with him, you might be up in the $100 range. But if you go for him without the cassette and just want Soundwave, you could find a Soundwave with his weapons for as low as like $50 to $60. So I'm going to say $50 to $80 for the range here without the bird. But if you want to get the Buzzsaw, you might be over $100. So but I think you could pretty easily get just Soundwave without any of the cassettes for $50 to $60. And if you want super mint, maybe you're pushing up near that $80 point. But if you do want a couple of cassettes to go with your Soundwave and you don't really care about getting Laserbeak or Buzzsaw, Ravage is pretty expensive, but you can go for the humanoid ones, Frenzy and Rumble. And they won't break the bank. These are some of the cheapest cassette tape robots that you can get to go with your Soundwave. And here we've got let's see, this is Frenzy, right? No, Rumble, right? Sorry. This is Rumble. $15 to $30 for Rumble. They're opposite in the show. Rumble was more blue in the show, where Frenzy is blue in the toys. I don't know if they screwed up the names or how that happened, but yeah. So here's Frenzy. Frenzy in the toy version of Frenzy, who's blue. And again, he's just going to be around $15 to $30. Loose with the back guns. You want to look for those guns that go on his back to make him complete. You can get them without them for real cheap, like $10 if you don't want those weapons on the back. These humanoid ones are super cheap. And then of course everyone's going to want a combiner. I think if you're going to go for a combiner, go for the Insecticons. There are a lot of accessories with the Insecticons, but also he's probably the most common combiner out there. There are 6 construction vehicles. Pardon me, sorry. And all 6 of them turn into robots here. They have guns and accessories. You can generally find each individual robot for $15 to $30 and sort of build your Devastator over time. And that is probably one of the easiest ways to do it. Loose, with just their guns, not really having all the accessories. I've seen some of these go for just like $10. They're super cheap. But if you want them complete with all the accessories, you're looking at more like $30 each. Devastator himself, complete with all the accessories and parts, you could be pushing $100. He could get to be in that expensive range. But that's going to be the one that I would call out as the most expensive that we're going to look at today. But yeah, anything else, I'm not comfortable saying it's affordable. There's so many figures that are going to be super expensive in this line. And yeah, I think I've just called out what I can call out, and I hope you guys agree. Hope this helps some of you guys, and I wish you well on your journey as you start collecting Transformers. The vintage Transformers are incredible, and some of the most satisfying action figures to collect. It's just that it can be quite expensive, and some of these things you might just want to build up over time, like my Metroplex. It took me over 3 or 4 years to put him together. All right, guys, thanks a lot for watching. I appreciate it, and I'll see you guys on the next one. I'm John. I'm out of here. Stay awesome, everybody. And thanks again to Tez for those photos.